September.
Apple Watch and iPad.
October.
HomePod Mini and iPhone 12.
November.
The first Mac with Apple Silicon.
March. But April. Dear sweet April. Sponsored by Ting. I know some people are saying Apple doesn't host April events. They haven't done that in a decade, ever since
iPhone OS 4.
But in case you hadn't noticed, 2020, 2021 are like Justice League and the Snyder Cut, and none of the old rules apply anymore. Does that mean Apple needs an event? No, absolutely not, especially if they're for iterative or upgrade products that are super easy to understand, barely an inconvenience. But if there are things that are new, things that are novel, things that require an explanation, it is just always better for Apple to do that in an event, especially now that they're hosting virtual events.
Good morning.
And it could be as soon as April 6th. So let's say we start with the Apple TV. The biggest question right now is whether it would be one of those iterative updates, an A12X processor just crammed into the current box, so that box can better support things like compositing HDR content and the latest generation of Apple Arcade games, with an updated Siri Remote that is just better, hopefully, in every way, including with the U1 chip in it, so that we can find it if and when it inevitably gets lost under the sofa, in the sofa cushions. Also rumored is an actual Apple gaming controller, a gamepad. The more audacious rumors are for a much higher end Apple TV, one with an A14X processor, which would be roughly equivalent in power to what is currently in the M1 MacBook Air and MacBook Pro, something that would signal Apple taking entertainment not just more seriously, but gaming much, much more seriously, maybe up to and including investing in AAA games and gaming studios. And I think that's one of those things where I'm going to invoke the I'll expect it when I see it, because even an A14X just wouldn't have Xbox Series S or Series X or PlayStation 5 GPU power, at least not as we currently imagine it. So balancing the amount of performance with the expectations of a much harder core gaming audience with what Apple is capable of delivering in terms of gaming experience, that would be a neat trick. For the iPad Pro, rumor has it that the larger version, not the 11-inch, but the 12.9-inch version, at the very least might get a mini LED display. But mini LED, which is an improved version of LED, thanks to technologies like local dimming zones, gives you deeper shadows, brighter highlights, much wider contrast ratios, things that are closer to OLED without also having to mitigate all the negative aspects of OLED. Also rumored is an A14X processor, SoC, system on a chip, which would be almost identical to the M1 in the current MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, and Mac Mini. But the other advantage of the M1 chip is it has those two dedicated Thunderbolt controllers on board. So whether Apple just makes an A14X specific with one Thunderbolt port or uses the M1 and only enables one of those Thunderbolt ports, that's really an implementation detail. But either way, I would just love, like all caps love, having Thunderbolt on the iPad, not just for the displays that require Thunderbolt, but for the much, much higher speed storage, things that I use every day for doing videos like this that I would love to just be able to Thunderbolt right into the iPad Pro. Also 5G thanks to a Qualcomm modem, which will be great for people who just love Qualcomm modems, but also for people in China or North America and Europe who have actual good 5G deployments with higher speeds, lower congestion, and everyone else will just do exactly what Verizon support suggested, and that is curse its battery drain and turn it right off. Despite it being super popular with everybody, it seems, who watches this channel, it's unclear when a new iPad mini might be coming with a larger screen, an iPad Air style makeover where the chassis stays the same size, but Apple deletes the home button and Thanos snaps half the bezels off, complete with, hopefully again, Touch ID in the power button. And even though I don't expect it, but what part of me would really, really like to see is whether or not Apple can make a tiny, tiny Magic Keyboard to go with it, maybe shrunk down with whatever that PIM particle bottled city of Candor technology was that they used to make that tiny, tiny HomePod mini house last fall. And if you're not familiar with AirTags already, these are small quarter-sized trackers that have been teased since spring of 2019. If they don't turn out to be just air-powered at some point, they will allow us to attach them to our wallets, our keys, put them in our bags, in our backpacks, and anything that we want to be able to use Apple's Find My network to keep track of, with everything else, anything else like the keychain attachment to be sold separately as a separate accessory, which is probably where the real money will be made, like with Apple Watch bands, the absolute fastest way Apple has ever found to separate me personally from my money. As to M1X or M2 Max, I need an M1X 16-inch MacBook Pro in my life more than I need anything else at this point. But it doesn't sound like those are coming immediately, imminently. It sounds more like that might start at WWDC 2021 sometime in June and then continue out into the more traditional Mac fall event in October or a repeat of November. Either way, anyway, the only thing we know for sure right now is that all of it will be expensive. So start saving with your cell phone plan, because Ting has talk and text for just $10 a month, data from $15, 5 gigabytes for $25, unlimited for $45. Whatever you need, just go to renee.ting.com, check out the plans, and see how much you can save. You get access to the best nationwide coverage in America on pretty much any phone, iPhone, Galaxy, Pixel, anything you can put a SIM card in. Keep your existing phone, keep your existing number if you want to, because the next generation of Ting Mobile is here. Just go to renee.ting.com and see how much you can save and get $25 off. Just click on the link below or go to renee.ting.com and get $25 off. And clicking on that link really helps out the channel. Hit the playlist above for everything coming our way this year. Every new product, every new feature, so you can better plan for what you want to buy and what you want to skip in 2021. Just hit that playlist and I'll see you in the next video.